Hey guys, and welcome to a bit of a suggestion video. Those of you that remember the podcast when we were still doing that, I spoke of an idea for a new mission type to expand the invasions between the Grineer and the Corpus. Well, while I carry on formering my Archwing for those Let's Max episodes, I want to expand on the idea and get your feedback from you guys as to how to improve it. Now, the one thing that bothers me about missions in the game right now is there are no consequences to your actions. It's pretty much just one and done is what I call it. My idea is for an expansion to the invasions, and it focused more on space than the actual star chart and land missions, and combines multiple game modes. In fact, the new star chart has actually made it way easier to do than the old one. Now, my idea is that because we have very obviously separate planets now, way more than it used to be in the old star map, and that we can have supply lines between each of their owned planets. Because the Corpus own a bunch of planets, the Grineer own a bunch of planets, we could have supply lines between all of them. Now, we do hear about supply ships occasionally, but they've not actually been a part of the game, and I don't really know why. The Corpus and the Grineer have been fighting each other for ages now, and they would definitely raid each other's supply lines to try and cut off reinforcements and supplies for their ground invasions. Especially with the Grineer having things like the Fomorians. The Corpus have those huge ships that we're sabotaging in the Archwing, so why do we not have attacks from each faction on these ships? It seems like a huge oversight and something that really could give another dimension to Warframe and actually tie Archwing into the main game instead of it being kind of a spare part at a wedding. But the idea really is that we've got the tech in the game now to go from Archwing to ground and back to Archwing again, and this is actually a thing, so why do we not actually utilise it in a game mode? Now, I do want to say that my idea is that Archwing is an optional part of the mission. You would get an additional reward, which is only fair, but it wouldn't be mandatory because not all people like Archwing. So if you choose the mission, you could select from Archwing insertion or Lisette insertion, and that would affect obviously the length of the mission plus certain aspects of it. Say for example you're helping the Grineer out when you're attacking a Corpus ship, and you choose the Archwing insertion. It could start off with a trench run Sabotage, where you're headed through to sabotage the reactor of the Corpus ship, drop the shields for the Fomorian to open fire on that ship. Or it could be a mobile defense. You're hacking the Corpus antennas that you've got the dishes as you go around, and they're controlling maybe the Corpus ship's firepower, and to stop those from shredding the Grineer assault team on its approach. Then you could head inside, and then have a random mission type to allow for some replayability. It could be a defense mission to maybe defend a team of Grineer saboteurs while they arm a bomb to cripple the ship's controls. Could be a mobile defense to disable key systems inside the Corpus ship, an exterminate to soften up the Corpus for a Grineer landing party, a spy to grab crucial information, or a rescue to get a key target off a ship before it gets destroyed. There's quite a lot of variation that could be had with the mission types that already exist in the game. You don't necessarily need to create more. After this, the mission could end for those who didn't want to do the Archwing. But if you wanted to do the Archwing aspect, if you did the Archwing insertion, you would get an Archwing extraction, which could be exterminate all the Corpus forces trying to repair the ship from the outside, or race to destroy the transport ships, leaving the Corpus ship with key personnel on board. Naturally, this would be reversed if you were helping the Corpus against the Grineer, where we could attack the Grineer fleet instead. The idea of this is so you can have mixed and matched missions, more so for Archwing than on-ship because of the combination of the Archwing game modes and the on-ship action, but currently invasion missions are simply do the same, exterminate 3 times, get reward. This would still be the 3 times to get the reward, same as it is now, but the mission could be vastly different each time you play it. This reduces player burnout because very few people like doing the same thing over and over again, but it would also add on to and give another level to the game. Was finally tying Archwing into the game itself. This would give another dimension to the conflict between the Grineer and the Corpus, because due to the inability for either side to flip the tile they're fighting over, because back in the day, this was abused pretty badly and one side ruled the entire galaxy, but this means that while they're fighting, it doesn't really feel like it at the moment, and this could be a way to make it feel like the conflict is igniting again. To be honest, this could also be adapted to have the infested attacking the supply lines, to make it feel more like they're a random threat. We know that there are floating infested ships out in the depths of space, so there are going to be random encounters between the infested and the individual factions. This could even be tied into potential faction standing. So if you help the Grineer a ton, they would reward you like the Syndicates do. And they've been talking about mechanical companions. Maybe you could have one of the turret rollers as a companion. And if you were doing the Corpus, maybe you could get Zanuka as a companion. It's not been ruled out, but maybe not Zanuka, but something similar. Maybe Hyena or something like that. Or a Moa. And the same for the Corpus. Like, it just gives a different angle on that, as well as something more to do to keep people involved in the game. Now, I would really be interested to hear your opinions on this. It's something I've been thinking about for quite some time now, and the new star chart is way better, and would incorporate this way better than the old one. And it would even fit the design aesthetic that it has right now, which is why I wanted to suggest this in a video right now, like as soon as it comes out. Now, that's not to say that this idea is perfect. I would love to hear your suggestions, but I'm really loving the idea, and I would love to develop this further. But with that said, back to leveling those Archwings for the Let's Max episodes. Many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.